morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is William Michael Forbes. I want to welcome you to Supernatural Saturday. And today we have the Divine Collective with me today, and the energy has just been so intense. I'm literally been shaking in my core for the last 25, 30 minutes. And we're going to have a lot of things to cover. And the concept is this is the opportunity to end suffering. This is the opportunity they're saying that humanity has right now. And another thing I'm really excited about is on February the 22nd of this year, we're going to start our next and final round of mediumship courses. That's Mediumship 101 course, and it starts February the 22nd. It's a life-changing course. Anybody can learn to channel and tap into these divine beings that are around you, your loved ones, other beings that are waiting to communicate with you, to give you, download knowledge into you to change your lives. You can go to my website to check that out, williammichaelforbes.com, and get all the information. The course is a 3-week intensive course where you're going to learn how to ground. You're going to learn how to sense energy differently. You're going to learn how to hydrate your body, change your lifestyle of eating so you begin to incorporate a different energy into your body from the food you eat. Learn to let go of some of the limiting patterns you got of living that hold you back from being more sensitive to what's available to you, and get yourself out of the patterns you've been stuck in for perhaps many, many years. But today, the Divine Collective came to me and they said, it's time that humanity has the opportunity now to end their suffering, especially when there is so much light, so much energy being brought forth onto the planet right now. It's profound when you think about it. The gamma radiation, the cosmic radiation, while they say in some respects these things are lethal, they are not necessarily when you're in resonance with them. You begin to find a way to incorporate them into your system and let your system get elevated up to higher dimensions of perception and consciousness, which everybody and anybody, whether they're conscious of it or not, is doing, right? We are not a devolving consciousness. We are an evolving consciousness. And that's what they've been telling me, is this: when you learn that process of learning to let go of suffering, that we can start to move forward. I want to say hi to everybody who's coming in here. Hello, Angela. Hello, Patricia, Christine, Fardiba, Melina, Navid. Wonderful. Yeah, this is like I said, I've never been shaking like crazy today. It's this energy is just so intense. Ending suffering. We have been so conditioned by our past to believe that suffering is natural and normal. And from merely a physical perspective, that is true. And they tell me that all it is, from a physical perspective, that is sometimes true when there are errors in action or behavior. They said there is self-imposed suffering, which is the greatest burden that your humanity carries with it. Imposed suffering, both consciously and unconsciously, and in some cases deliberately forced upon others with bad ideas and bad food and bad thinking. If you can learn to distance yourself from some of these things, you'll begin to liberate your mind and your body back to its light of expression. Excuse me, just drink some water. They're saying that when you learn to incorporate energy intentionally and consciously at higher frequencies in your body, there's certain things you're going to need to learn to do. And they remind me this all the time. And I remind our students this all the time. Hydration is so important. When you're seeking to explore different realms of consciousness, when you're seeking to find answers that are beyond the realm of your personal knowing, when you start to open up your clairs, the higher senses of your nature, your brain begins to process energy differently, as does the rest of your body. So it becomes really important to use a really good conductor of electrical energy, which is water, one of the best conductors of electricity. There are other things in our body that conduct electricity, like iron and copper will also conduct electricity at different degrees and rates of flow and intensity. If you understand that, you'll begin to realize the importance of having the proper levels of vitamins and minerals and nutrients in the body in order to sustain this ascension process that's happening universally for humanity. They state that over and over again. This is a universal process. There's not one human being on the planet that can escape that process. It's just happening. It's a natural process. And the more people that get engaged in it, the stronger that effect of that transformation begins to unfold. So hydration is really important. Grounding is another thing that's really, really, really important. Getting out, getting your feet on the ground. If you can't get your feet on the ground, get your hands on a tree. They say we have to be linked up properly to the earth. We have to be linked up electrically to the earth properly, because these changes are affecting the earth as well as humanity. And because we're symbiotic, we're kind of creating this, passing this effect back and forth. We're creating a dynamic transformation together. Humanity, the planet, all the other life forms on the planet are going through this dynamic together. They say this originates from the galactic, what you call your galactic center. These energies originate from your galactic center, but these energies are not exclusively limited to the galactic center. They also originate from a greater center that is far beyond what your sciences can currently conceive of or perceive. Although it is possible, as you learn to release your attachment to your finite nature and to include this unlimited aspect of yourself, you'll begin to understand what we mean. That it is within. All things are within the other. And this goes on in uncountable time. And it goes down into unbelievably small time, forever, in either direction. And this is really true. If you look at, you look at the oak tree. A tree is the simplest way. If you took a cross section of a tree and you look at the rings and the rings and the rings and the rings and rings, well, those rings will go in reverse direction too if we begin to pursue that. And with microscopes, you can go down and down and down, get to the ring of the cell, right? And then the ring of the DNA is the way it's spun around. So there is no limit to how big things can be or how small things, how far consciousness can expand or how far it can contract, right? There is no big, there is no small. There's just different degrees of one and the same thing. To end suffering, they're saying now to me, to end your suffering, you must first make a decision that you no longer wish to suffer, and then decide how it is that you wish to be. For if you do not decide how you wish to be, how can you release yourself from suffering? Because that is all so many of you still believe to be true for yourselves. You must know what it is you wish to be. What is that you that would be without suffering? What would that being be? How would you walk and speak and go about your business if you had no suffering? If you were living as if your life was being built for you by this all-loving intelligence that pervades all points of time and space and is responsive to every thought and emotion, every action that is performed by any human being on this planet, influences this limitless power that seeks to only give to you that which you seek to experience in your material and immaterial life. They want me to stress immaterial life. Why? They're saying to stress immaterial life because it's important you understand that your body is merely a small sliver. They're saying a small sliver of matter through which your limitlessness is actually expressing at this time. This process of ascension is a principle of being able to open that sliver up so that you're not viewing yourself from the sliver, but you're seeing yourself from beyond it. As they're saying this, what comes to my mind is this: let thine eye be single. If you got something like that, let thine eye be single, and your whole body shall be filled with light. Instead of just having this small part expanding into a greater whole. That's how I'm interpreting that. They're saying that's not completely accurate. So what would be more accurate? They're saying it would be more accurate to consider your physical being as you would consider one of your fingers. The you that looks at your finger knows that that is just a part that you utilize, but it is not your wholeness of who you are. You may think of your body as a part of a great cosmic finger, and that you are a body much greater than the finger, and you can observe it, and you can move yourself into that place, and that place does not know suffering as you know suffering. They're saying there are simple ways you can begin to reduce your suffering. The first thing is to begin to honor every aspect of the life within your form and to honor every aspect of life around your form. To have any detrimental thoughts or behaviors towards your body will be expressed as detrimental thoughts and behaviors towards others. It is important then that you be willing to correct that, and your suffering will begin to diminish. Many of you have been taught to think that your emotions are far more powerful than you are, and this is a terrible lie. Your emotions are merely the divine energy you have available to create your experiences here. It's just that most of you are creating mostly negative experiences, and it's very uncomfortable. But you can easily change the flow of that emotional energy by your focus, but begin by changing the thoughts towards this body and how you treat it, and change how you have thoughts towards others and how you treat others. This is the first step. When you change your thoughts, you essentially change the way this energy flows through you. It's funny when I deal with the collectives like this, because there's a number of them like this. With the divine collective, it's almost like they sing in unison, but every once in a while I can feel or sense someone put, like almost like somebody putting a hand up and saying, "Wait a moment, there's something else here." But it's very fascinating that we have these beings around us that are pouring this knowledge through millions of us right now. Like there's millions of us on the planet that are getting these downloads, if you like, if you want to use that term, downloads from a higher frequency of consciousness down to the body and to the physical mind, where we can interpret those sensations, electrical, emotional, vibrational sensations, into a different framework to communicate to other people who are along that pathway of trying to end suffering. But they're saying the pathway to ending suffering is not as difficult as many of you have been led to believe. They're saying many of you have been actually coerced into believing that you must find something outside of yourself to correct you, whether that is a pill or a bottle or a food or a person. Many of you have thought wrongly that you need that outside to end your suffering. But all the power of the entire universe is within you and you and you. And as you come to know this and you learn to charge your consciousness with ideas and emotions that liberate you from suffering, and you can do this right now by stopping negative thinking, by turning your attention away from your pain and suffering, by moving away from your past memories of suffering even. For many of you, you're stuck remembering the past from yesterday and what it did to you and how it keeps you trapped because of that event. Many of you do this. This one has done this many times. As you release yourself from that, you realize your past is past. And here, now, here, now, here, now, you may be present, liberated in the moment from what was before or what you might think is yet to come, but to be in this moment by choice. By choice. If you knew this, that it is by choice to be in this moment, and that you have the ability to not be distracted by yesterday or what might be, but that you have the choice to be in this moment. And in this moment, there is the peace that you all seek. The liberation from your suffering will not come tomorrow, and it will not come from your suffering remembered. It is here, right now. Can you not feel it? Can you not breathe this moment? Breathe this moment and feel yourself, restore yourself to that place that is your natural place of birth and resurrection and rebirth. It is this moment. Do it. Breathe yourself into this moment. Do not let your habitual system drag you backwards or throw you forwards before you've figured out where you are. And once you've figured out where you are, then you will have a choice to go where it is you wish to go, be what it is you wish to be, do what it is you wish to do. But you cannot do that from what you remember, nor what might possibly happen, for you will automatically adjust yourself to those things rather than the reality of the moment. The moment will reveal the actions, the deeds you need to perform. It reveals itself. Look around you. Can you not see in this space that you're in at this moment that there are things that you could do to make it a more peaceful space, a more loving space, a more uplifting space? Can you not organize that pile of papers, or put away those dishes, or straighten out those cupboards, to give your moment the moment of clarity, of order, of peace that is truly the godness of all? Wow. The questions that you will have today shall be quite interesting, for we have been looking forward to this opportunity to reveal to you that which you already know. You hold on to your pasts like flypaper, seeking to get rid of it, but all the while getting more entrapped in it. You seek to get away from your anger and your fear or your guilt and your shame, and yet you indulge in it by the very nature of analyzing it. You indulge in it. You feed it as if it is real, and the mere nature of your perception makes it real, although it is not. For you get to change your focus if you so choose to do that, and liberate yourself from the past. We can look back and say, oh, this happened on that planet. And oh, yes, 70,000 years ago, you created a terrible event in your society that caused a change in the planetary system. And you could be reminded of that and bemoan that, and it will do you no good. For the time to change is now. You cannot change what was, although you can affect now by changing what you think about what was. For you can change the quality of your thinking about what was once before and alter how you are now, as this one did when he went through great abuse. He turned his attention back to those events and changed it from anger to joy and respect and appreciation, even though he did not understand. The very nature of his decision to alter what he remembered of his past from a perspective that was more loving than the one he previously held altered his present experience of his now being. So you may look back on your past, look back on it with gratitude, even if you do not understand it. But you cannot liberate yourself from the pain of your past if you keep remembering the pain of the past. And many have said to us, well, how do we stop that problem from recurring again? Stop focusing on it. Start treating each other with respect and love. Stop being angry. This is beginning to happen. It's already happening in great strides on your planet as individuals begin to express their need to be and do the way they wish to need to be and do without harming others. Whether it be the transformation of gender manifestations of your physical beings, or the creative endeavors you're engaged in to travel to other planets, or to go deeper into this planet and know more about it. You are in a place where you are unfolding your limitlessness, but that must be done from a perspective of respect and appreciation. There must be no force used upon another for the difference in their values. For divinity has unlimited diversity. And it is important you understand this, but that unlimited diversity can only function in a system such as yours when it's operated from the perspective of love, when you enable it from the perspective of love. If it is not enabled from the perspective of love, then you will have fear. And if you have fear, you will judge. And if you judge, you'll create emotions that are judgmental. And those judgmental emotions will eventually make you frustrated and angry. And you will think that person out there or that thing out there is making you angry and upset and frustrated. And then you start the wars all over again. Have you not had enough? It is time to let it go, but you must start with right now. You must learn to look around and appreciate even that man on the street sleeping in the corner. Appreciate his choice, but do not judge him. Do not find fault with him. Or the politician doing the wrongdoing. Yes, they must be held accountable to their wrongdoing, but you must not hold them in judgment, for you will hold yourself in judgment too. And you repeat that. In the present moment, you are liberated from your past and your future. And in that place, you will make very different choices. You make very different choices than if you're remembering, oh, that person did that before, and if I do this, it might mean that, and I better respond to it this way because that might happen again. There are many subtle nuances to judgment, but you cannot release judgment if you keep holding on to it. Excuse me. Wow. They're saying enough. We did not mean to come across as we were seeking to scold you. We were simply coming across to implore you with deep love and compassion to understand that you have an opportunity to live a greatness, a life of wonder and magic in a diverse system that you all collectively manifest moment by moment. And you can choose to let that manifestation perpetuate the suffering. That is your choice. Or you may choose to perpetuate a diversity that's based on the foundations of love and respect. The concept of do no harm is a very high level concept. Animals cannot contemplate that the same way you can. Although you have seen many instances where animals will step outside the confines of their instinctual nature and perform an act towards a completely different species and assist it. Very high act for an animal form. That is an evolved soul seeking to be more. And you are that more which that one is not. You are in that more evolved form where you can deliberately and intentionally say, this is right and good and just, and this is not. And you can know these things. You've chosen knowledge. Okay, so we're going to get to some questions and stuff. I want to say hi. I've been watching people come on. And again, when you move into this process of actually connecting to these beings, your energy changes. Your physiology goes through changes. Like I'm really hot right now, but I'm also really excited and energized, and I feel this intense vibration. And as you get more into that, the excitement of that, it's quite profound. We were not put here to suffer. We were never put here to suffer. You look at a newborn baby, and they're crying because their body needs to breathe. That's why they're crying when they're first born. Not crying because they're suffering. They're crying because their body is exercising its expression in the physical form. When we realize we actually came here to experience joy, creation, manifestation. I don't believe anybody came here to experience suffering. I don't think any single human being born on this planet came here to experience suffering. That's my personal belief. They're laughing because they say there's some who actually have come here to choose suffering. But I prefer to believe something different. And they say I'm free to believe that. And you're free to execute the vision of the world you want. So let's they'll take questions and answers now. Okay. And then we'll see where we go from here. Wow. This is okay. I'm going to scroll back up. Hi, everybody. Hi, Terry. Hi, Michael. Hi, Lorraine. Wow, lots of questions. Okay, we'll get to as many questions as we can today. Again, this is a wonderful thing. I want to take a moment to extend my gratitude and appreciation to all of you that come out to this Supernatural Saturday when when they first wow, that was really funny. My wife's mother. My phone just said my wife's mother, and the very first time I started consciously and realizing I am a medium, happened with my wife's mother, where she came to me saying, "I am the mother," while we were driving through the hills of the mountains of Gross Mourne in Newfoundland. Very profound. But I want to get back to what I was saying. Each of you that comes here, when we share this energy back and forth, there's something that happens. We add to something. We add to something, especially when it's coming from a place of excitement, of growth, of learning, of compassion, respect, and caring for humanity. Each of you comes and you share, and each of you receives, and that goes out. We're creating a vibrational consciousness that is radiating out beyond the confines of what our physical beings, our mental beings can perceive or sense. But that vibration is going out, and I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. It's really been. I'm really enjoying this. This is, I think, our seventh episode. So we're going to keep doing this until things are where they're supposed to be. And they say there's many of you doing this now. There's many of you coming out like this that are beginning to liberate yourselves from your old self. So let's dig into this now. Thank you, Patricia. Forest bathing, very helpful. Yes, there's wonderful ways to ground. Salt water. We have a saltwater pool. A great way to ground. But you can't be going out and connecting with Mother Earth directly. Like connecting to a tree, the concept of tree hugging, used to be thought of as very silly, back in the 60s when I was a kid, what they called the tree huggers, the beatniks and things like that. And now it's becoming understood as a science that our bodies are a microcosm of the earth, and we need to connect to it to recharge ourselves. She feeds us electrical energy, just as the sun feeds us a different form of electrical energy, but the sun also feeds the earth plasma. But that's another subject, another day. Highway. Yes. Yeah, was biblical there for a moment. Yes, that's the exact quote, Naveed. Thank you. Yes, that's very true. Most suffering does begin in the mind. Questions. If you leave a question mark on the end of your questions, it'll be easier for me to source them because there's a lot of information flowing here. Let go. Okay, this morning I saw an orb with my inner vision, dark blue with golden ring around it, and the word oblivion came into my mind. Was it my archangel? What was that all about? Thank you. They're saying the concept that you were given on oblivion was the recognition that it is time for you to release yourself from that old mind that keeps you oblivious to who you truly are. It is the light that you have been calling forth, the energy you need to stimulate a deeper awareness of this self that is yourself. Not your mind, not your little personality, but the self that is here to operate this. The soul behind the curtain of the form. And as you allow yourself to go back into the feeling of that moment and bring that feeling of the moment forward to now, bring that feeling of that moment to now, it is the releasing of that which makes you oblivious to who you truly are. Release that. Release that. Good question, Christine. Thank you. Monica, hi. I would like to ask if there's such a law of balancing energy to neutrality, meaning after negative fills you, positive comes to balance. Thank you. They're saying, yes, there is in your primary stage. What we mean by primary stage is you learn by polarity. You learn by opposites. But when you have come to the place of knowing who you are, the need to learn by opposites ceases to be required. It is what your educator Buddha spoke of, the middle path, where he recognized quite clearly that he did not live in duality anymore. He did not need duality to be the light that he is. And we stress that he is, for he still is. So this is for you to understand, to live in non-duality, to move into that place where you have choice over heaven or hell. For the negative, as you call it, or the positive, as you call it, are merely polarities of good and evil. And good you may call heaven, evil you may call hell. But you have choice in your true state as to whether or not you will express heaven or hell in your being, in your world, and with others. Cool. Hi, Terry. You're very welcome. It's called the Divine Collective, and they've been with me a few times. There's another group too, the Divine Collective of Light, and they're very different groups, but they're pretty cool beings. Lorraine. Oh, thank you, Lorraine. They're just saying much gratitude. It seems that everything is emerging from our feelings about what we perceive. We change our experience when we change our feelings about it. Is that what I heard you say? What you heard us say is that you are one that can choose to design your feelings very precisely to create very specific experiences in your physical realm. You can be in a state of what you call great anger or upset, and you can make a decision to transform that energy, to change it from anger into joy, literally alter the structure of your body and your form to change that energy, to redirect it, to transform it, because that's just what you do. You change. You are a creator being. You transform energy from one state into the other, just as your creator did with you and all that is. Understand, emotion is your energy from your creator given to you in motion. It comes to you as an energy that you may elect to manifest as good or evil, as pain or pleasure. You can alter emotion. It can only express in one of two ways, either positively or negatively. We would suggest you learn to use it positively, for even that, which you call evil in the form of anger or fear, that emotion can be transformed from one state to another. And this is what we meant, that you can alter and change your emotional energy at will. Do this. The next time you find yourself in a place of upset or frustration, stop, bring yourself the moment and make a decision. What can I do to be more joyful at this moment? What can I think to be more joyful? And you will feel that energy begin to move away from that darkened place. You'll feel the shifting of that energy with your intention, for it has to follow wherever you go, wherever you look. If you choose to look at suffering, your energy will flow and become that which you focus on. So yes, in part, it is your thoughts, but ultimately it is the energy that you're learning to work with. Hi, Wei. Wei's asking, are genetic diseases mainly caused by spiritual reasons? If so, is it caused by the patient's inherited tendencies towards some kind of sin or unloving act? This comes up from this. What you call your genetics is simply a memory of what was before. All genetic expression is a product of that which was before, whether that before is in the experience you are having in that physical location of your physical body in this point of time and space when it was born, or the physical location carried over from other times that you were experiencing material experience. These are easily changed if you understand the principles of learning, the principles of developing a new skill. You can easily get your genes to change as quickly as you can open and close your hand. But you would have to practice that and understand that the movement of your hand or the movement of your DNA is exactly the same process. It's just a matter of establishing a level of knowing within yourself to alter the conditions, for we understand that you're asking that question because there's something that you wish to see resolved in your life. And so we would encourage you, instead of focusing on the genetic problem, what is the genetic expression you would like to see in your life? What is the genetic expression you wish to be in your life? For once you can see it and start to be it, then your body will begin to take that patterning on. Those microscopic strands that you call DNA are no different than your hands or fingers. It is just that there's a deeper level of awareness needing to go into to instruct or re-instruct them. This is being proven all over the world today. It's a science called epigenetics. Yes. So yeah, if you want to alter the DNA, we can all do that. Like everybody can do that. Everybody can do that. But again, it's not something people generally know. Most people have been so conditioned to think the outside world is the real world. Very few people, relatively speaking, I mean, there's about 1 billion people waking up on the planet now, but relatively speaking, most people very rarely go into the inner world. And when they do, most people don't know how to deal with the fear and the guilt and the shame and the anger that's there. And this has been a really big problem for humanity. And yet at the same time, there are mechanisms for learning how to deal with that, to transmute those emotional energies, as they were saying a little earlier. But you can alter DNA very quickly. At that point of going, and you look at television, you look at mass media, look at the entertainment industry, and I'm not saying that's as a whole, but in great swaths, the entertainment industry is putting out guilt and shame and fear, and you can't trust anybody, and to be scared of all these things. And those things go into our minds if we pay attention to them, and then they're in there. So you go to meditate, and suddenly you're feeling very uncomfortable, right? Because your mind is picking up the memory of that show you watched the night before with the demons and things, and now you're afraid to look inside. And you've been conditioned to be afraid to look inside, because if you did look inside, you would discover eventually that you are unlimited, that there's nothing outside of you in reality that can determine the conditions of your life other than yourself. Cool, thank you. Thank you for that question. Hi, Nicole. I love that. They're laughing right now, Lorraine. They're saying you of all persons have the simple ability to communicate with them directly. They will tell you who they are. They will tell you who they are. You have been delving into these inner realms and these other dimensions for some time now. Don't be afraid to dig a little deeper, to know a little more. Do not let your mind's fear of the unknown or the different perplex you or puzzle you. Ask them. They will tell you, just as we will. I is asking, I have lots of pain. What's happening in my thoracic spine and in my lumbar area? Thanks. They're asking me to ask you to do something right now. They want you to sit upright. They're saying they know it'll be slightly uncomfortable. They want you to sit upright with your hands. If you've got an armchair, put your hands on the armchair and push slightly back. They're saying push slightly back with the arms and push that lower area into the chair a bit. And then they want you to move your awareness into the lower lumbar area. They want you to move your awareness into the lower lumbar area. And they want you to tell the pain the following idea. I'm willing to love you, even if I do not understand you. They want you to repeat that at least 12 times. Each time, speak those words with greater truth and meaning, as if you actually mean those words. I'm willing to love you, even if I don't understand you. And repeat that. They're saying at least 10 times. And then you can write in the comment section the change that has occurred. They're saying we will stay by you as you do this, for we are not limited by time as many of you are, or space. Okay, thank you. So please, let us know what happens when you do that. Navid, can you explain how being at a low vibration, fear, paranoia, can cause blockages within the auric body? Quite simply, they're saying, quite simply, you are at a lower vibration. Quite simply, you are at a lower vibration. Change your energy from the lower vibration to the higher. So I'm just feeling what they're communicating to me, what I's going through right now. I can feel that. To ask such a question is to limit yourself to the problem. And we would recommend that you focus on what it would take for you to be in a state of greater joy and bliss, rather than focusing on that which resists it. Do not focus on that which resists it. Focus on that which liberates you from it. This is the problem all of humanity is facing. Focusing on the pain and the suffering. It's time to stop it. You can do it. Do it and see. Jenny, I've been having some discomfort in my chest for quite a long while. May I ask if it is related to my heart chakra? They're saying absolutely yes. You have to open wide. They're saying you have to open wide. They're saying pull your shoulders back. They're saying you have a tendency of letting your shoulders come forward slightly, and it's how you keep. They're saying it's how you're unconsciously keeping your heart closed. They're saying be mindful of keeping your shoulders back and your head slightly up. Open your heart. They're saying open your heart more. Open your heart. They're saying physically. They're saying physically open your heart so that you'll feel that energy liberated. Pretty cool. Let's see. Thank you, Lorraine. Giovanna is asking, how can we connect to our soul families and feel less alone? Thank you. They're saying you are never separate from us. You are never separate from us. You must release that perception that just because your body is in a separate space and there's nobody else around it does not mean you are separate from any of us. This you must understand. If you understand and feel the power of what we're saying now, feel the vibration of these words. You are not separate from us, nor us from you, nor any. Your body is merely a localized point of your consciousness. It is not the whole of you or the whole of us. It is the non-physical connectivity that you must become more aware of. If you hear our words and feel these vibrations, then you will know as you feel those shivers through your body that we are present with you. You are never alone or isolated. Although the universe is trying to incline you to become more involved in it, it would like you to get out and do a little bit more on its behalf. That's pretty cool. Navid, as I said earlier, there's a point, and the Buddha understood it clearly. There's a point we don't have to choose suffering. We really don't. There's a point in your consciousness, in your evolution. They're laughing too with me. They're saying, if you want to continue playing back and forth between suffering and not suffering, you're free to do that. There is none that will ever use their will to make you do otherwise unless you request that too. For you can request that somebody usurp your will to prove to you that you have no power and thus keep you in the cycle of suffering. Or you may choose to release the idea of suffering and move towards the idea that you can create more good, more love, more light in your life and in the light of others, in the lives of others. Choose this. Right. Just going to go through. Shane is asking, hi, Michael. Can I ask, excuse me, Shane. Thank you for that. Hi, Michael. Can I ask if it's the right thing for me to set up woodworking a business? Wow, they're just jumping up and down for you on that. Yes. but they're saying you must do it from the excitement of it, not from the concern of whether it will fail or succeed, but do it from the excitement and passion that you feel about working with that substance. It would not be advisable for you to do it from the fear of failure or success, but do it from the joy of the doing of it. They're saying the joy that you can do your work with will balance that out. It's not an either or. And they tell me this all the time. Get rid of the word or out of your mental vocabulary and put the word and in place. Should I do this or should I do this? No. Do this and this. When you put an and in a place of a conflict, it changes things significantly. I used to be so conflicted about what I was going to do with my life. Do I continue being a production manager for a large corporation? Do I do this? What do I do? And do I do this or this? And it was very conflicting for many years. And finally, when they finally came to me and said, stop using the word or, do this and this. And the relief I felt in my body that I could do both. And what was amazing, I could do both in different measures. When I started transitioning from the 3D world into my fourth and fifth dimensional reality that I'm living now, there was a transition, and I watched as the old life, and as I began to build the new life, the new energies, the new practicing, the gain more wisdom, the old life began to shrink, and even the money that you have to worry about, you won't have to worry about it because it'll start to transform. You start to move it. It literally starts to move. Everything starts to move where you're focusing. Money, joy, relationships, prosperity, success, bliss. It goes where your awareness goes. If your awareness is on, oh my God, I don't know what to do, then you're not going to know what to do. You're going to be conflicted. Get rid of or. Yeah, they had to kick me in the pants a lot of times to get me to let that go because I'd gotten so used to suffering. Some of us get so used. Oh, and we get up in the morning, remember, oh, here we go. I got to go to work again. And I'm going to see the boss and I'm going to see that person. And, oh, I'm going to go get my coffee, but there's people in the coffee shop are waiting. By the way, I don't drink coffee. Don't drink coffee. It's bad. I just use that as an example. But we create this whole world in our minds before we even get out of bed. Stop it. Start really contemplating the life you really want to live. I used to do that for years. And one of the reasons I love doing this is because I want to save you, Shane, and other beings like Shane. There's a younger generation that are opening up to this higher knowledge, to these realms of other consciousness. And it's for me, this is a great honor to have the young people coming into understanding that they are more than just a little body. They're these divine, infinite, creating potentials, and for them to start liberating themselves at an earlier age. Rather than waiting until they get 40, 50, 60, 70 before they realize, wait a minute, that's not who I was. No, now's the time. So I'm really honored and privileged that we're getting more younger people coming into the program. It's amazing, really amazing. I is asking, who is my guardian angel? Michael steps forth and he says, I am one of four. I am one of four. The other three shall be revealed as you reveal yourself to you. Again, I don't know. Okay, I don't know why Michael's saying that, but he's saying when you reveal yourself to you, I understand that to mean as you get liberated from who you've been conditioned to think you're supposed to be, that you begin to start to see something other than what you remember, and that's really what starts to happen. The present moment, when you get into the present moment, you choose joy. You choose joy right now. You choose bliss right now. You choose to be excited. It changes what starts to happen in you and around you. And it takes a few tries, to get that thing fired up and going. But the more you stop dwelling on the past and the suffering and the pain, the more you can start living from now and deciding, well, do I want to continue living based on that, or do I want to live based on a model of joy? It is work. But if you start when you're younger, you're going to save yourself a ton of time, and you're going to accomplish amazing things in your life. Amazing things. So you'll know the other three soon enough. Sin. I hug trees often. In fact, there is a family I visit regularly. What message do these beautiful trees have for me and the hawks that circle? Wow! Immediately I got this group of fairies just came into my heart. Literally came to my heart and said, seek us. with your I'm trying, not your mind, seek us. It's like the word touch, but it's not the word touch. They're saying a word I don't understand. They're saying seek us there in the middle. Okay, I can't get that last word they're saying, but it's almost like seeing. It's a feeling like you're supposed to sense them in some way, and I don't know that is. I don't know what your dominant clairs are, because everybody's got these non-physical senses that correspond to our physical senses. We have sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. So my feeling is, Sin, that one of those senses, either clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience, or clairgustions, one of those five primary clairs. Again, I'll speak from personal experience. You might want to try um, uh, closing your eyes when you're with those trees again and feel the presence of these beings, these fairies. That's what I'm interpreting them as, fairies in the middle of that gathering of trees that you go to. Feel them there. They said you'll feel us there. So try clairsentient, feeling them without trying to feel them physically, but reach out with your awareness to feel them, or to see them, or to smell them. Master Jesus, he says, I am not a ring leader. I am a walker with arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder with all of you. I am with all of you. This is not a me zone. This is a we zone. Don, hi, I feel energy when I drive on. Is that good or bad? Depends on what type of energy you're feeling, Don. I mean, like I said, electricity. If I unscrewed this bulb and stuck my finger in, I'm going to feel the energy of that electricity, and it'll be very uncomfortable for my finger. But I put the light bulb back in, I feel very comfortable with that energy. So what are you going to use, repurpose the energy? How are you going to use the energy? Are you going to use the energy as an expression of love or an expression of fear? How are you going to use that energy? Because we all have unlimited energy available to us. Emotion, my guardian angel John told me about 7 months ago, emotion is the fifth state of energy. Science does not have the instrumentation to measure emotions the way they can function and flow in and around us. They're learning to do that with the electromagnetic spectral analysis, where they can start measuring electrical fields, right, that the brain can produce. But the actual way that emotion works and where it originates from, they haven't quite got there yet, but they're getting there now. Another 10 years, they'll know exactly how to measure emotional energy and where to find it from. It's connected closely to plasma, but it's not the same. Jay Fresco, how can we help our children become their best self in this time that are so full of negativity directed towards them? Thank you for asking that question. And they're saying our heart is always filled greatly with love when we witness those of you that have this concern. But we would say to you to envision your children happy, as the very nature of that envisionment will communicate to them an energy that you may still be needing to nourish them with. Okay. Okay. So the image they're giving me, if you look at the umbilical cord of a baby in the womb of a mother, we see that the mother's body is feeding that baby's body nutrients. The baby doesn't have to do anything; it just receives it. Just receives the energy of the physical nutrients going into the umbilical cord. And what they're saying to me now is, when we leave the body and that umbilical cord is cut, we are not separated. We're separated from the physical connection, but we are still intimately connected to the connection of emotional energy. So whenever we think or feel a certain way, if we're thinking fearfully about our children, we're actually feeding them that energy. If we're thinking lovingly and joyfully about our children, we're feeding them that energy. And I think that's what they mean. So feed that energy of love to your children, and those others that you know love your children, have them do the same. For this is where we nurture our children when they leave the womb, with our spirit. We nurture them with our spirit. They're saying that's another name for emotion, spirit. Wow. Great question. Thank you. Um, oh, thank you very much. I've been so, I got to tell you, I've gotten so lost in this with these guys because this is so intense today. Um, but yeah, we will can certainly do that. Like I said, I can't even get through all the questions, as you know. And it's the whole hour is almost past, but I think what they're telling me to do is to be patient. So we're going to do a 3 minute meditation right now. And this is one of the things about we have an organization called 1 Billion Strong on Facebook. And the goal of this group is to get people to deliberately, intentionally move into a state of love and joy, and to then take that feeling of love and joy and to surround the entire planet and all things upon it and within it with that vibration of love that you're capable of generating. And we do that. We're scheduled to do that at noon hour every day and 12 a.m. in the evening, right? 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. But we also do it any other time we comes to mind. And somebody's just brought that to mind now. So this is a perfect example. This happens to me all the time. I'll do it at 12. I'll do it at 12 p.m. But I'll do it also every hour. If it comes to my mind, I'm walking down the street, I'll see someone sad, I'll move into that state. So let's do a 2 or 3 minute short breathing meditation. And the process is when you're going to breathe, you're going to move inside your heart area and access what for you is a feeling that you call love. And then we're going to have you take that energy and expand it in your body and expand it out and expand it out and expand it out and expand it out till it surrounds the earth and permeates and penetrates the earth, including your physical body. And we're going to do that over a 3 minute period. So we're going to start now. And remember, with the first breath, move your awareness into the heart of your body. So we're going to begin now. So take a deep breath. And as you exhale, access that feeling of love in your heart. And as you inhale, expand that love to fill your body. Hold it for a moment. And as you exhale, expand that feeling out to surround the building, the town, or the city that you're in. When you inhale again, expand it out even further. And as you exhale, expand that vibration that you call love out to surround the entire earth. And as you inhale, intensify that vibration of love around the earth. Feel what the earth feels from this vibration. And as you exhale, let this vibration penetrate and intensify in the earth. And as you inhale, expand it out one more time. Now just let your body breathe normally and feel the vibration that you have generated by accessing this energy. Just feel it in your body, in the space around your body. Feel it interacting with the entire structure of the planet and all that it contains. Just feel it. Now breathe in one more time and bring all that vibrational energy back into your heart center. Now feel it fully in your body, but also notice you can still feel it around your body. And very, very gently, just open your eyes and bring yourself back to this present moment. I want to thank everybody for participating in this. I want you to understand that when we do this, we're actually affecting the planet. You're actually affecting the molecules in your body. And please leave your comments about what your experience is with this short meditation. So that's what our 1 billion strong movement is designed to do. The reason we chose 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. is if you look at the world as a giant clock, then everywhere on the planet there's somewhere where it's 12 a.m., 12 p.m. every hour. So every hour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, our group is doing that. So it almost creates like a flow that begins to happen throughout the whole planet. And we're building that momentum up. And there's other groups like the Heart Math Institute that are doing the same thing, other organizations on the internet and YouTube we have the purpose of demonstrating, because we have that capacity, that we are custodians of the energy of this planet and that we can affect it and alter it with our intention and with our focus. And just so we can affect each other. If I walk in the room, I'm filled with joy. People feel that. There's people you watch that come on shows, talk shows, stuff, and you can tell they're vibrant, alive with energy because they've cultivated that. And that's a choice. You can give that out, or you can give your whoa ho boo hoo me's. Don't do it. You want to end your suffering, and that's what this whole thing today is about. This is your opportunity to end suffering for yourself. It's a matter of just taking your attention off suffering. I love Eckhart Tolle's statement: suffering is only necessary until you know it's not. It means, in other words, you have a choice, but you have to know how to carry out that choice. Stop focusing on your pain. Stop focusing on the woe is me. Start focusing on the possibilities for your life. And I know for some of you, it's easy for me to say that. I mean, I've gone through my losses and my pain and my suffering, and I'm grateful for all of it at this point in my life. And when you realize that it's merely the opportunity to just not give it life anymore. Otherwise, you end up repeating it over and over and over again. That's how people get into patterns, individual patterns, collective patterns, countries, continents, races end up in collective unconscious patterns because they do not know how to let go of what they remember they're suffering. Right? They repeat it. And every race has done this. Every single race on the planet has done this, repeated suffering over and over again by remember what they did to us. Oh, there they are. Let's go get them again before they do that again. And we let our past determine what we're going to do in the present. That's insanity. It's not. It's just a cycle that goes on and on and on. I'm done with it. And you should be done with it too. So I'm going to take 2 more questions, and we're going to call it a wonderful Saturday. I should probably take 3. These are short questions. Drusilla is asking, does holding my crystals help my connecting to my guides? Absolutely, but they're saying it's not just holding the crystals. You have to feel the resonant spirit within the matrix of the crystal. Within the matrix of the crystal is the vibration that will align you to those that you seek to connect with using those devices. The crystal has an intelligence, as you already know, but you have to access that intelligence just as you have to access your own intelligence to change your life. So yes. Yes, that's correct. Very good one, Terry. Replace the word but with and. Okay. Wow, this is great. The questions just go on and on. Yes, it is. M. Lyman, that ringing in your ears is yes, it is. A lot of people call it these ascension symptoms can often get misdiagnosed. The only time I go to a doctor is when I want to get a medical diagnosis so I can understand what needs to be altered and changed energetically in my system. So I rarely go to doctors at all now. But that ringing in your ears, if you listen to it, it's a vibration, it's a frequency. Follow that frequency. Where is it originating from? Sense where the sound is more intense or less, and move your awareness to where that ringing is originating. And don't get caught up in the sound or the vibration of the ringing, but go into the feeling of that sound. And we teach this in our sensing energies level, part 2 of sensing energies in our mediumship course. We teach you how to go into the feeling state, where you go into understand the message within the sensation. A lot of people get stuck on the sensations of the ascension symptoms rather than getting into the feeling of the information that's being imparted to you from those sensations. And again, we teach that in our courses. Come and join us. You'll just blow your mind what you'll learn. You're welcome, Sin. You're welcome, Mary. Thank you, man. I love that. Ooey gooey agape love. That's exactly what it is. And we all are beings in our essential nature. We are love. We are love. And I love that we are love. Sunny Soul. Hi, can you tell me if I will date someone soon? I would love to be in a relationship. They're laughing, Sunny. They're saying, you get in a relationship with your soul. Get your mind and your body focused on your soul, and your soul focused on your mind and body. That is the relationship that you need, dear one. Not the relationship you want, but the relationship you need. All else will follow from that. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, so anyway, we're 7 minutes over. Thank you so much for an amazing time today. Thank you, Divine Council. I am just honored. It's been a blissful day for me. And thank you for your questions, your support. And if you want to support me, you can support me on Patreon. If you want more information about the courses and classes, go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and have yourselves an amazing, joyful day. In fact, create yourself an amazing and a joyful day. And I will see you next Saturday. Much love to everybody.